All right, so we're on day 18 of the 30-day challenge on how to deal with difficult times. And these 18 days have been really special because, I picked it purposely because of the holidays. And I thought start before, and because things intensify and stuff always comes up. And I wanted to share with you for today. I was listening to Mel Robbins, and she says she does this with her family the last few years. Well, she says 20 years she's been doing it with her husband, but the last few years she does it with her family and herself. And she does like this audit of the self. So we're like auditing ourselves from 2000, like the year that we've just gone through. And it's 7 questions that you ask yourself, um, basically how to make the next year your best year. So you ask yourself these questions, and it's just like I've been taking time to reflect and to see what I've done in the last few years. So what you do is you take your phone. I'm on my phone, so I can't show you, but you take your phone the best way, because it's kind of hard to recollect like all the things that happened through the year, and you go through your photographs. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to tell you the 7 things, the 7 things to do, to ask yourself. And the first question is, what were the highlights of this year? And for me, every year I start off my year. Last year was 4 years of living a sober life, and so that was the way I started it. So that was it's always a highlight for me to start my year like that. And then I created a pink cloud yoga, which was based on recovery and living like an awakened life. And so that was like a big deal for me. To create that program and to create the language around it, and everything I've been just talking about throughout the year. Trying my best to do some outings with friends. I feel like I did a lot of work this year, and so I tried my best when I could to do a few outings, and I did enjoy a few. Then I started another program with Tara, some of you might know that I do work with her. And we did that yin yoga Reiki. And so that was another thing that there was a lot of creation this year. And so there were highlights in that. Then I went to Portugal in the spring, and that's a family home that I went to for many years, and I didn't go for a few years. And I had some healing to do with that, because there was a lot of past stuff that had happened, great memories and also hard stuff. So that was healing for me, very epic and on my side. And then I got a chance to create new memories, and it was beautiful because I was with some family, but also I had the time for myself, and I sort of did like this mini retreat for me, and then also gave me points on if I was to continue doing retreats for other people, then this is how I would do it. So everything that I share or I teach is through the experiences that I've learned throughout the years. My son, he moved, he got his own place. He already had moved out. So I was already not a complete empty nester, but he already moved out, but he got his own place. And I was really, really happy for him to see him in his element. And then we organized with Sober's a New Cool, being involved in my sober community and this walk. We did an international walk, and it just reminded me of the strength that doing everything together. So that was a huge highlight as well. And everyone came, my family members came, and it was just a beautiful day to connect with everyone. Then I tried to take advantage. I went on some really good hikes. So again, connecting to nature is always highlights for me. It's just something I love to do. Spending time with my dad. It's precious, the time I have with him. So I always cherish it. And I always feel like every day with him is a highlight. And then when I get away with my friend Tara, we did a little couple of days, well, one night, and it was just a little mini thing, but it was just nice to take a little time. It was slightly work based, but at the same time, it was a bit of a retreat. And my dog Daisy gives me a lot in the sense that the reason why I have a dog is because I like to just say I need to get out. So it helps me get out. This is really healthy for me. I need that. And then I started teaching again at Summit School in the neural diverse community. I had stopped for 2 years, so I got back into teaching once a week, and it was just really nice to connect back with that particular community. Always spending time with my kids when I can. It always feels like a highlight. Always feels like I just, again, I cherish all those moments because I don't know. They're busy. My son's busy. My daughter, she's with me as well. But still, having them together is really great. And then the last thing, I just reunited with a friend who I haven't seen for 25 years. She lives in Italy, and she came with her 3 daughters, and it was incredible. I didn't know how it was going to be since I hadn't seen her for 25 years, but it really was very special for me. And it has reminded me how much things have changed, but yet our initial reason for being friends was really there, and we didn't lose anything. So that's one of the questions. What were the highlights? The second thing is second question is what were the hardest parts of your year? So if you think about what were the hardest parts of this year, so for me, well, my other dog passed away, so it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet because he was sick, but when our little lovey furry pets or even family members, what happens is when someone there's a passing, it reminds you of your past. And so when my little dog passed away, I just reflected. We've had him for 14 years, and I reflected of all the things that I did together as a family, and so brought back really good memories and difficult times as well. The hardest thing for me was trying to cultivate a new direction in my career and in my work. And I've been really trying to figure out, what I love to do. And I want to stick with that. I don't want to go anywhere where it's like, it doesn't honor me. It doesn't feel authentic. So it can be tiring, and it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do, but at the same time, it's exciting. My aunt passed away, and again, it was nice to see family, but it's also, again, it reminds you, it brings you back through like your past, your history, and which is okay. That's okay. I think it's a reality check. I was doing great physically. I would say, yeah, the highlights of I was really feeling strong. I was getting back into exercising, and then the hardest thing was I started having back issues, and that really took a toll on me. I love to be active, and then to be in chronic pain all the time. And also just wondering, like as a teacher, how do I do this? And it's more genetics for reasons why that I have a back problem. And so I've been just dealing with that and trying to figure it out, just navigating it. And I always believe that the universe is trying to show me a different way to do things, and maybe, teach in a different way. Absolutely. And then trying to also, again, figure out how to provide for myself, trying to have that balance, like in life, just work, but talking with family and leisure time. And so that's been hard. We're all dealing with that. And then pushing out of my comfort zone. There's just some things that, I guess, like with my back hurting, I was thinking, how am I going to do the work that I love to do? And so that was a bit scary for me. So it kind of brought like that challenge, like I can face it, I can deal with it. But again, that was one part. And then a big thing that I had to let go of some toxic relationships that I've been trying to let go of, but sometimes people or a person is still in your life, and how to set boundaries. And that's been really, really difficult, because one of the things that I've had to deal with is codependency. And that has been challenging. It's been really faced in front of me. And then, so what's been really hard was me setting the boundaries, straight boundaries, of not allowing a certain person or people in my life that I just know that haven't been good for me, even though I know I didn't want them in my life, but to stand firm with that. So I would definitely say that has been quite a challenge. Then the next thing is, what did I learn in the last 12 months? So what have you learned in the last 12 months? I'm going to write down the list below, all the questions. And so what I've learned was, no matter what obstacles I had to deal with, I always landed on my feet. I always seem to land on my feet. I feel I'm grateful for the support I have. That I've learned how to communicate. So communication has really helped. I'm learning how to communicate more. I'm learning how to ask for more help, that I can't just do it all on my own. And dealing, like what I learned about, I was very aware about how codependency had affected my life. I was faced with it just a lot lately. So how I'm able to see it clearly, I've learned that a lot about myself. And thinking, every time something's coming up, that this too shall pass. I learned that to just know that, and to also sit with it, to sit with the discomfort. I've been better with that. And the other thing is not to be a people pleaser. So that kind of connects with codependency, not to be a people pleaser. So the next question is, what am I going to stop doing in the coming year? People pleasing. People pleasing. And if you are a people pleaser like me, you will, for me, it is really uncomfortable, because it's one thing to say, no, I'm not going to do that, or you can't do that, or whatever, set our boundaries, than to stay strong and not change the mind. And what happens, I can just say for myself, is viscerally, I feel uncomfortable. And I know that I don't want to go back on my word for myself. But it just feels so it just feels my body. I just don't know what to do with myself, and I don't numb myself. I don't do any of the toxic behaviors that I used to do in the past to numb, to soothe, so I don't have to deal with it. No, I deal with it, and of course I have tools, like my breathing and little meditations and yoga and all of those things, and they're helpful. But it doesn't. You don't eliminate it all. You have to. Like, I've had to deal with it. I've had to push through it, and then it passes. What else did I write down? Oh, advocating for myself. So you'd say, oh yeah, of course I stand up for myself. Well, I just can say, as a people pleaser, that I would be last on the list. And advocating is just like setting boundaries again, which are really important for me. Everyone's different, and I just had to learn that no is no, or I can't do it, or not right now, and all of those things. So this is like kind of investing in myself. That it kind of leads into the next one. What am I going to do coming up this year? So invest in myself, reinvest, do the things that feel genuine for me, and continue to surround myself with people that are like-minded, that are curious about being taking care of themselves. They're curious about their well-being, that are trying, that are asking questions, that making little changes. Doesn't have to be big. And so I like to surround myself with people like that, and we give each other support, and then we can have this conversation. And then the next question is, how do I continue doing what I've been doing, that like from this past year? I would say that I want to continue being there for my kids, being their sounding board, but however, learning to continue to just give them their space, letting them figure it out, letting them be. I think it falls into some of the other questions. And well, for myself, my recovery is number one, because this has been a huge life changer. It'll be 5 years, January 1st, in my recovery, and working on toxic behaviors that I had to deal with for myself, and my codependency has made me change myself, like to the who I have meant to be, my authentic self, and it's given me clarity. And I know that if I fall back to my old ways and I don't keep my recovery first, I will just slide back to something that's just not healthy and doesn't do anything for me. So the last thing that what I could do right now, so the last question is, what can you do today to take steps in things like in the right direction, and being accountable? So I need to be accountable. That's why I speak all the time with you guys, because it holds me accountable, and I try my best to face everything that I need to. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. So I just did it right now. So I'll post a list for you guys. It's a little bit longer than a pause, of course, but it took me a pause and a moment to think about this. And we don't have to write it all at once, but it's a great exercise and worthwhile doing, and allows you to sort of see in the rearview mirror for just a moment all the things that have arised, and all the things that you can sort of work on, look forward to. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.